Guys, welcome back. So today I'm in the wonderful village of Dob Cross and riding bikes. I'm going to take a walk along an old railway line to Delph. I'm going to take a walk along the Delph Donkey railway line. So I park the van at the garden centre. There you go, Newbank Garden Centre. Beautiful little garden centre if you want to stop and get a cup of coffee or anything. It's a nice little gift shop there and everything. It's actually great at Christmas. They have a nice little Christmas display. You can just see the viaducts over there for Upper Mill. So we're just a little bit further down from Upper Mill. If you're going to park at the garden centre, park in the top car park. Because the bottom car park here, if you notice, has gates on. And the gate's locked, I think, about 5:30 when the garden centre shuts. So if you're going to do a long walk, park at the top. Actually tells you I open 7 days a week. Gate's locked at closing time. So they don't mind you parking here, but they're out by closing time. Anyway, let's walk through the car park over there and I'll take you onto the Delph Donkey. Oops. So, just here you can see these big massive stone buttresses which support the road above, which is where the railway line used to run along. So we're going to make our way up onto the top there, and if we go along, so that one's collapsing a bit there, isn't it? So we'll make our way along the railway line. There's remains of what was Dob Cross station. There's quite a lot of interesting things in it actually. When we get over to Delph station is still there, it's been converted to a house now. And at the end next to Delph station you got Bailey Mill, which has been burnt down, but it's still quite a lot there to see. See all the old platforms and everything where they used to load all the haulage onto the mill. So just quickly, like I say, you got the viaducts there, and then just here at the start of where we were walking you've got the remains of an old mill. I think I've actually shown you this before, I'm not quite sure. So where these people are looking now, there's the remains of an old water mill. I think it was a wood mill, I'm not sure. We'll have a look and then we'll take a walk up onto the Delph Donkey line. Delph Donkey line, yeah. So there is actually a little car park there if you wanted to park there. And this is a nice little garden area. Got some beautiful little stepping stones there. Nice curved bridge. Danger, deep water. Doesn't look very deep today. That's how I wander across the stepping stones. Look at that. So you got a nice little arch there. And got your big viaducts there. Beautiful, isn't it? And across here they made a nice little garden. How nice is that? So the Delph Donkey was actually a branch line that used to run to Dob Cross and Delph. And it used to be for the mills, basically. So it used to come under the viaduct, I believe. And then along, it was either under the viaduct or it branched off the viaduct. I can't quite remember exactly. Allegedly though, Queen Victoria, her personal train actually spent the night under there one year. There you go, got a nice little garden here. So it's actually a great place just to come and hang out. So you can start here, check out the wooden sheep. I'm assuming it's supposed to be sheep, given the wool and textile trade that used to be here. Brown Hill Nature Garden. Just across there you've got the Lime Kiln Cafe, so the canal actually runs along there, going under. where the cafe is there, that's actually the canal. So like I say, you've got the garden centre, got a great cafe there, or it's a great cafe there. So plenty of places for you to stop and chill, if you know what I mean. Right, you can ride a wooden sheep with its ropey ears. Anyway, we are going to go along the Delph Donkey. So I think, yeah, the old couple have disappeared away from Mythill Mill now, so I'll give you a quick look at Mythill Mill, and then we'll get cracking on the donkey line. See what we can find. I've never actually walked it. There you go. Yeah, I've never actually walked the Delph Donkey line. It's always one of the things that's actually been quite curious to me, because my mum used to work at Bailey Mill years and years ago, and then my nan worked there as well. So they've always lived next door to the mill as a kid. My mum grew up there. So she's got a framed picture, or she had a framed picture of the Delph Donkey with a train outside the mill. I've actually got the picture now. And every time I look at that picture I think, one day I'm going to walk that donkey line. And today's the day. Today's the day we're going to walk the Delph Donkey. It's a nice day, isn't it? Sun's shining, birds are singing. And it's quiet because it's midweek. So, let's go for a wander. Well, first of all, Mythill Mill. What's left of it. The junction of streams. There you go, Mythill Mill. There you go, lovely bit of history for you. Right, let's crack on and get on the donkey line. So just in front there, you see a beautiful stone archway, which you can actually cut on an angle as well, which is quite cool. The stonework on that. Awesome. Yeah, dude. Just some steps up to it, I think, if they can get up them. What do you reckon? Are they safe to go up? Wow. Oops. What we don't want to do is slip on our arse coming back down. Yeah. Been a long while since anybody used these steps, hasn't it? So this is the Delph Donkey line. I think what we'll do, I'll climb under it, because that looks like it leads to somebody's garden. Oh, some steep steps then, weren't there? Wow. Anyway, so this is the Delph Donkey line. So there's the viaduct, so it actually came level, it branched off from the viaducts before it went down. So I'm assuming, I'd always heard the story that the Queen's train parked under the viaducts. They actually must have parked on the line at the side of the viaducts. There must have been a siding, not under the viaducts, as I always thought. Anyway, let's proceed and see where we end up. So you've got Moorgate Quarry, half a mile, Dobcross, quarter of a mile, and Delph, 1.5 miles, and then back down to Upper Mill and the countryside centre. So 1.5 miles. Let's go. What a beautiful spot for a house. So if you imagine, 100 years ago there had been trains coming down here. 100 years, maybe? I don't actually know when the station's shut. I'll see if I can find out for you. There's the garden centre. Beautiful, isn't it? And just here, these steps lead up to, I think, Ledcastle Road, which takes you over by Saddleworth Golf Club. Just across here on the other side of the river, you've got Dobcross playing fields. Nice little vantage spot there to chill out. Never actually realised there's a field there as well. On the other side of the playing fields, quite a big farm field. Just noticed some nice stable blocks there. Never knew they were there. So as you see, this is a road coming down, and this actually comes under the bridge. And that takes you out. Yeah. So that leads you into Dobcross village. And just here used to be Dobcross station. As you can see by the old station post there. So this is Dobcross Halt, which was an unmanned wooden platform basically. You can just see it there. Dobcross Halt. Ignore my grubby fingers. So this is Dobcross Halt, an unmanned wooden platform. You can just see it there. And you used to come up the steps from it. So this is actually quite an informative board really. It tells you all the history of it. Built in 1850, even though permission was granted 1845. Built in 1850. And it led all the way over to the Delph Donkey. And I was right, the Queen's train did stop here. The Queen Mother, that's her train there, and all the people watching. And she stopped here as one of the last trains to use it as a siding in 1955. Not 1855, although she could be old enough for that, you never know. And it was called the Delph Donkey because originally horses used to pull the trains before it got steam powered. And there's a donkey. A donkey brought to Delph Station as part of the last rites. Now when it says last rites, does that mean they sacrificed the donkey? Who knows? Probably not. You never know though. And that was on May 30th, 1955. Which was the last time it ran. Yeah. Awesome. Let's crack on. So I've got another stone bridge here that crosses the river, and it looks like it goes under. Should we go and explore? I'm curious, let's have a look. I love finding little places like this. The fact that they've actually put a pathway here. Oh. Okay. So that's now actually somebody's car parking spots. No way. So you've got an old archway. So the river must actually go under these houses now. How cool is that? So it just drops down that culvert. So imagine if that ever got blocked up, it'd actually end up flooding the houses. You can see the remains of another arch there, can't you? So there's actually a double arch. That's pretty cool. Right. You won't bother people. Ah, the joys of vlogging. People watching you. Must admit, I do get self-conscious sometimes when people are watching. But for you guys, I will get over my insecurities to bring you my meanderings. Right, let's crack on. Oh. So, got another beautiful stone bridge coming up. So that takes you down into Dob Cross that way. And then, gorgeous little archway. I'm even going to take my glasses off for this one because I've seen on some of these where you can still see the steam, the burn marks on the ceiling. You can't really see it as much on this one, but beautiful stonework. But that's possibly because being only a branch line, it probably wouldn't have got used much, would it? Maybe a couple of times a day at most. Whereas the main lines, they always got peppered in smoke, didn't they? And I can't imagine that they've gone fast down here either. They've probably gone quite slow. Gorgeous though, isn't it? Still standing after all these years. See, you can hear it, there's another bridge there. I can't see it because I can't get to it, but you got an arch there, the stone arch there going over where the road is. Beautiful building here, which I have no idea what it is. It's one of these places I've always looked at and always wondered, what is this place? Because it looks abandoned, but every now and again you see a car outside it. Let's see if we can have a look. I don't want to be trespassing but I am curious. I don't know if it was part of the old mill or something. Let's have a look. So you've got some beautiful ironwork here, haven't you? Gorgeous, isn't it? See, if you actually look at this grate, this reminds me of a rack for putting spools of cotton on or something. Definitely for hanging something on. But I've always wondered what this building is. Whether it's the remnants of an old mill or something. You got old stone posts, some little stone troughs. So there was some more workings here, wasn't there? I don't want to trespass too much in case anybody's in here. I don't know if you guys can see it there. It's a lot of old timber joints, but the building itself is actually solid when you look at it. I wonder if it was something to do with the station. They did actually say on the board down there that one of the station buildings was still standing. So I wonder if this is something to do with it. I honestly don't know. Gorgeous though, isn't it? See, when you look at this, we've got this stonework here. This looks like it would have been a path or something. I wonder if there would have been railings in there. Bit of iron railings. I honestly don't know. It'd be great to find some pictures of it. Wow. Looks like there's a bit of a channel there, dug out. A well, maybe. It'd be great to find some pictures of it when it was in its prime. But it's surprisingly, it's actually in very good condition. I wouldn't mind betting half of these sash windows still work if they were freed up a little bit. This is beautiful. Love old buildings like this. Look at the stone staircase there. Wow. And there is the remains of another building there, isn't there? An old... Oh my god. There's an old garage here. Do you know, for a minute there, I thought there was a vintage car in there. But it's actually a vintage tipper truck. Even that's still like, I mean, look at the tyres and everything. You look at that. That's pretty cool. That's going to be 1930s, 1940s. Leaf sprung seat, look at that. Awesome. See, I love it. I love finding stuff like this. Look at the old standing plate. Somebody's robbed the engine off it, but beautiful. Look at the old asps, the anchors for holding them on. It's been there that long, not moved, but they've actually rusted to the board. I'm not going to touch them. Part of its treasure now, aren't they? What a beautiful building. See, there's always something interesting if you look around you. I'm waffling again. I can't help it. Beautiful though, isn't it? So you got the remnants of a brick building there, which I guess was something else to do with the railway line. I think this is... It mentioned on the board about a lot of the buildings have been destroyed, but a lot of them are still here, or the remnants. See, it's gone from me having a wander to an urban explorer. Look at that tree, the way it's grown out the middle. That's not been touched for years, has it? There's an old silage tank there, isn't there? Little stalactites forming on the concrete roof. That tree's been growing that long. It's actually grown into the concrete. If you actually took this down now, there'd be a gouge where the tree was. Awesome. That's a shaft going down. You see the ladders? That must be a sewer point or something going down. It's been blocked in now, hasn't it? But that would have gone a lot further. That must have gone a lot further. Yeah, the fact it's got them rungs built into the wall tells you it must go under. Before they filled it in, obviously. So it could have been coal bunker or something, who knows? Amazing, isn't it? It's like I said, turned into a bloody urban explorer now, isn't it? Little things you never knew were there. On that board over there, there was a mill here that burnt down in 1945, I think it was. And it's quite ironic really, because the mill, which was, I forgot what it was called now, began with a B, like Braithwaite or something mill, looked identical to Bailey Mill, which also burnt down a few years back. Look at the gorgeous stone up there though, holding these up. These were actually built into the wall as they built the building. That is amazing. That is beautiful. I'm actually highly surprised nobody's bought this and converted it into houses or anything. Obviously somebody still owns it. Whoever owns it's not selling it. Probably some old farmer or something. Oh man. So you've got an old workshop here, haven't you? Now actually some of the paint pots aren't actually that old, which tells you the building's not that much in, not been in, yeah. Which tells you the building's still been used, and there's a new brolly there. Look at that, old glades and everything. I think I can actually hear music upstairs. Got a funny feeling. I can. Somebody's upstairs. Okay. And if you look at that, there's a new wheel, there's a new disc on that grinding wheel. Actually, also just had made under a piece of glass as well. That was a bit blurry. Anyway, yeah, somebody's playing music in there, so let's leave them to it. But it is, it's gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Love places like that. Anyway, let's crack on along the Delph Donkey. See what else we can find. See what other beautiful buildings and remnants of a bygone age we can find. So, just next to the mill, we've also got another, like I said, railway tunnel. Check out the ironwork still stuck in there. You see it? I think there would have been wires running along there. This is another one, look at the stonework going in the opposite direction. Beautiful, isn't it? The skill and craftsmanship went into these. See how they got like the heavier stones in the middle to support the weight. Normally you just get them at the end, don't you? It's great. Tell you what though, that wall's actually bowing out. It's either bowing out or they curved it on purpose. I'm going to say they curved it on purpose because they didn't make mistakes, did they, the Victorians? Beautiful spot for a house. So when I was reading the board down there, they also actually said the railway line shut in the 1950s, and then a couple of years after they lifted all the track after it shut. But then there was in the 1960s talk of reviving it as a heritage railway. And at Bailey Mill, I remember this, there was actually a carriage, an old railway carriage, you know, like off a steam train, kind of like the Orient Express kind of carriage, at Delph Station, left there, a railway carriage on the actual track still. And that was there for years. I remember that being there when I was a kid. So that was probably late 1980s, I think, when that was actually fully removed. But that was there for a long time. Shame really, isn't it? Because it would have been nice. Imagine a nice little steam train going down here. Imagine what they'd done for the tourism of the area. But when you actually look now, not only did they have to build all the tunnels, level it all out. I've always said this. Look at the quarry wall. That goes down there. So it shows you they dug out tons of rock and quarry stone just to put a level field in. You've got to give them the credit. Certainly knew to graft them guys, didn't they? That must have been some big feat, that. They didn't have JCBs and stuff like that, did it? It was all done by hand. Carted by hand, lifted by hand, moved by hand, and horse. And now we get to enjoy the fruits of their labour, the cycleway and the footpath. So further along, we come to Measurements Halt. So this would have been Measurements Halt. And constructed in 1932 to serve employees of the Measurements Mill on Delph New Road and was unstaffed. So I'm guessing Measurements Mill was here. Now, actually I do remember this mill. That mill there was just across here. There's actually a stone yard there now. I think they demolished the mill sort of like mid-90s. Oh, late 1980s, there you go. and there's actually nothing wrong with the mill. Never burnt down, nothing like that, it just ceased production. And I can only assume they demolished it because that was around the time, I think, when councils used to charge you rates on empty buildings. And they stopped it because a lot of people were demolishing heritage sites because you had like a massive mill like that, 4-storey mill, and you had to pay rates on it and there was nothing you could do with it. So it was just cheaper just to demolish it because you didn't pay rates on the land. So once they'd done that a few times, I think they stopped charging people rates on them because they realised they were losing a lot of heritage and history. I'm waffling again, aren't I? Anyway, so bridge replaced, level crossing that was built, double track. It was actually quite a busy track that, wasn't it? There you go. Measurements mill. There again we have the Delph Donkey. Let's crack on, see where we end up. Well, I know where we're going to end up. We're going to end up at Delph Donkey. Beautiful little brook there, and a nice little stone bridge crossing it. What a gorgeous spot. You can imagine just chilling there, couldn't you? I could. It's quite a nice little cottage there. Nice little brook running through your garden. So looking at these, I'm guessing these are the remains of the sidings. The Halt. The timber platform. Now reclaimed by nature. And there's another, not quite as pretty bridge. So going off that, he said there used to be a level crossing in and replaced it with a bridge. So that road obviously would have come flat and gone up. And then at some point they thought, it's just easier just to knock it and build a bridge, isn't it? Yeah. You can tell it's a modern bridge, can't you? Because they just don't have that same finesse and panache and flair. They just look a bit shite. Anyway, let's crack on. So just after the bridge down there, I've noticed all these little patches of cloth. I thought somebody had dumped a load of carpet, but I've just realised there's actually roots growing through each one, I think. So they've either been deliberately done and they're planting trees in it, or somebody's dumped a load of carpet. Anybody knows, let me know. It does look like trees are growing through them though. Curious. That one of the local kids is missing his fuel tie. Hope they didn't try hanging the kid there. So, we're actually coming up to Bailey Mill now. We've got Valley Mills there, and then Bailey Mill here. A lot of memories of Bailey Mill. Livestock, keep out. I don't see any livestock. Now when I saw the fence there I was thinking, oh god, they fenced it off, you can't get in. But you can. Them houses there, that's where my nan used to live. The end house, that one, number 11. That was where my dear old nan used to live. All her life until she was about late 60s. Until she went into an old people's home. She loved that house. Rented it off the mill. So it probably worked out that she probably could have bought the house about 3 times over, but the rent was cheap anyway because she worked at the mill. So here is all that remains of Bailey Mill. Beautiful. So this used to be the blending house. If I remember rightly, yeah. This was the blending house where they used to blend all the walls to get the right shade. So you'd be surprised what goes into it really. They used to throw like 10, 12 different lots of wool in there to get one colour. So that was the blending house. And then the main bulk of the mill, you had the warping, the weaving. They didn't do any spinning here. Spinning was done at different mills. They never had any spinning looms here. Yeah, they used to do warping and all that kind of stuff. Ready? So you can't actually get to it now, but the station platform was here. And then they built these houses here. Another fun fact for you, when they built these houses, being presumptuous, they actually built a road here and stopped it. And they did that on purpose because the person who built these knew they was going to convert that at some point and assumed they would need access to it. And he had a strip of land going all the way around. So he thought by being a clever clogs, he'd build that there and they'd have a ready access road there and he could charge them to use it. But what they actually did was put in planning to have another access point coming in off the main road, so they didn't have to pay him anything. So he actually built that road there for nothing. These, so I don't know if you can actually see it still, the platform used to be there. Obviously the mill's collapsed on top of it now. But yes, there used to actually be some carded engines in the bottom. Because lad, when I last worked for them, we refurbed some carded engines. And inside the bottom double doors there, that's where I painted the van. Long time ago. So it's like it used to come down here, and then the station house, where this fencing is here, and these trees. That's the old Delph station house. Let's go and have a look at that. And that is the end of the Delph Donkey. Now, apparently the guy who owns the station house, because the tracks used to be in his yard, when he was digging it out, he actually found another set of tracks under the original tracks. Does that make sense? So like say a couple of feet below, which showed there was actually an earlier track system there, which is what they think the donkey cart track system was for. But it used to run a narrower gauge. And there you go, Delph Station. So that picture there is similar to the one I've got in my house. Beautiful, isn't it? So if we look around here, there's your Delph Donkey. Still got the old signs on the wall. Hope they don't mind me filming. Yeah, that's the platform there. So you can tell the original platform used to run all the way along. There's the old station clock. Still got the shutters inside. Beautiful, isn't it? There used to be a set of public toilets there as well. They used to stink then. And I think they converted that as part of the house as well. Whether the signs are original or been put in afterwards, I don't know. But it's actually quite nice, isn't it, having all the little platform pagoda. What a beautiful building. Anyway, so that was my little trek along the Delph Donkey for you. I believe it used to actually come across the road as well, and then there was a turnaround, then it come back. That's what I believe. But that's obviously houses now, isn't it? So there, the Delph Donkey. It would have been nice to show you Bailey Mill when it was still standing. It was a gorgeous building. They actually had grade 2 listing on it. There's actually 2 separate mills joined together, but it looked like one building. But yeah, it was sad when that burnt down. That was only, I think, 2016 it burnt down. If I can, I'll try and shop you some images and some video of it. It was really sad though. What a beautiful, beautiful place. And now, I have to walk all the way back. I don't mind, it's nice. Let's see if we can have a quick look inside the mill though first. May be able to, may not. Let's see how far we can have a look. I'm actually not mistaken. There's actually a mill pond here as well. Let's have a look. can't remember if it's at the back of these houses here or here. But I remember as a kid when playing near it, like I say, my nan used to live in the end house there. Strange fact about these houses is she had the end one there, and then underneath, all the underneath parts are actually separate houses, which is a bit weird. I think the mill pond was actually here. It's only a small pond. So I used to remember looking out of a living room window and seeing it. A long time ago. It was actually a lot clearer then. It's very overgrown now. It never used to be like that. It used to be really clear. You used to be able to see it completely. Yeah, that was the mill pond there. That's a shame. That was like a proper clear pond. I used to go fishing in it. Well, I didn't. My granddad did. But yeah. So she had the end house. And all the rooms were upstairs. So she had the top 2 floors. But her toilet was in the basement. And the steps were like that. So in a way I was kind of glad when she moved into, how shall we say, see that feeds off the pond. Yeah, I was kind of glad when she moved into one of the flats because I was frightened of them steps. There you go. Looks like the local banksters have been having a crack at doing their old insignias and what have you. Not much left of it now, is there? So all this steel ducting that you see here, well, aluminium ducting, that was the shoddy pipes. And that used to carry all the waste wool all around the mill into the shoddy bins where they'd fill it into bags. You can tell this is actually a later addition to the mill. By the fact it's concrete and not stone. That would have been one of the extraction pumps for all the shoddy. Cool, isn't it? I have no idea what the plans are for this place, to be honest. I don't know whether they plan on converting it, knocking it down completely. I have no idea. See little bird eggs, can't you? Must be a nest up here somewhere. Must be a nest in the rafters that it's fallen out of. That's all it's used for now, isn't it? Birds. Little birdies. I know I'm trespassing, but I'm not doing any harm, if that makes any sense. I don't generally trespass. If it wasn't for the fact that I have a lot of nostalgia here, and this is the first time I've actually been here since it burnt down, it's actually really sad to see it like this, I'll be honest with you. Because I remember this as a working mill. I remember coming down here on school lunch breaks to see my mum walking down this yard. I remember there was a bloke restoring a vintage tractor in that bale shed there. I also remember he actually got the vintage tractor pinched out the bale shed there. How they broke into a mill and robbed a vintage tractor, I have no idea. There's your old engine boiler. Yeah. What a shame. Bale carts. Can you imagine pushing a bale cart with a couple of 100 kilo bale of wool on it up here? An old cobbled work yard. They used to do it. I've seen them do it. Them bale carts up and down here. That took some doing. It is, it's a real shame seeing it like this. I really hope they do something to it. and not just knock it down. You know, if they can try and restore some of the original structures. It's like this one here. This is quite solid. So that could be refurbished. The office block could be. This, parts of it could be saved. Like this piece here. It's not all beyond repair, if you know what I mean. There's still a lot of history here. They could actually clear off all the platform again, and you know what I mean. Victorian history. I love it. Anyway, somebody's had a bad night's sleep here. Damn. Right. I'm going to leave you here, and I'm going to head back. Say thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. So if you get bored, take a wander along the Delph Donkey. See what you can see. Who knows? Let's have a quick look at it. I think this actually used to be the toilet block, because this tank is actually a water tank. And I remember as a kid, see, I'm waffling again, aren't I? I said I'm going and I'm not, I'm still here. But I remember as a kid fishing tadpoles out of that tank and catching tadpoles, and the toilets were under here, if I remember rightly. Men's toilet, that was the urinal, and there three separate poopy houses. I don't know, crazy. But yeah, there used to be. That was the blending room that I mentioned. So actually, see all these shoddy pipes? They used to come in, they throw all the wool in, and then these rooms here was where it was blended. It used to spin round and round, just blending all the wool together. It's actually a great process if you can watch it. I used to enjoy my time working in the mill. It was a good place to work. If you're into your industrial heritage and bits like that, it's actually a great place to work. If you want to make money, you have to own the mill. It's never been the highest paid job, but makes you feel good. No, that's the wrong word. It's never been the highest paid job, but for the aesthetic value, it's actually quite nice. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here and go back. So, there you go, guys. That was the Delph Donkey. Just a little trek. Past a couple of hours. So there's always somewhere you can have a wander, isn't there? Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. We saw an abandoned house, which wasn't abandoned. An abandoned mill, which is abandoned. And a couple of other things. I've learnt something. Hope you've learnt something. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Adios.